Not saying the shape affects us, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Have you ever wondered why everything around you is a cube? Prisons, schools, offices, homes, all square, all boxed in. Ever ask why? Because cubes trap energy. Ancient civilizations knew this. That's why their temples, their homes, never square. Their roofs pointed to the sky, allowing energy to flow. They understood something we've been made to forget. If you could astral project into a prison, you'd see it, feel it. The energy, stagnant, suffocated, unable to escape. That's the point. Control, containment, compression. Now look around you. Look at your walls, your city skyline, a grid of squares, a world of boxes. Do you think that's by accident?
It does seem sketchy.
See? The ancients built for the mind. They understood that your environment shapes your thinking. You surround people with beauty, with complexity, with wonder, and they think bigger, dream bigger. But if you surround them with lifeless boxes, you limit them. You keep them small. Everything we see molds our minds. This is just
Shalom, Kal Halayim La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Wahavrachakurash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders who rule well, who I learned this truth from, and salutations and blessings to you elect, starting with 144,000 on down. So this lesson is lambacking off a video the brother Shammai did. Okay, this video, prisons and the society as a whole was designed to drain your spirit and deplete your energy. Okay, it's a good video. The brother's channel is GMS Meek and Spirit 2. Okay, subscribe, be edified. And it's just lambacking. We had a conversation about this a while back about prisons and jail cells. You know, the term cell and all these, these energy trapping, places. And this is all going into something called sacred, geometry, which, one sec, right, is going into, like pretty much sacred geometry, using shapes, constructing shapes, to conjure things, either to conjure things or to harness energy, whichever left-hand side knowledge that they practice. And again, this is not a conspiracy, like, right, when you go into the layout of certain parts of Washington, D.C., okay, it's not a mystery why you have these certain layouts, okay? Just like the Pentagon itself. What do you think the Pentagon is, right? That's a pentagram. These various places in the world where they have pyramids set up and phallic symbols. It's the same thing with this square shit, right? Everywhere you go, it's a square. Your house is a square, like the guy said in the video. The school, maybe there's a rectangle, but it's all squared up pretty much. The skyline, the buildings, your condos, it's like all cells and shit, right? So this is going into the fact that, as we know, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, right? I'm going to read that in the NLT, Ephesians 6:12. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Right? So KJV, it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, and one of those spiritual battles is whenever you're around, phallic symbols, monuments, certain places. Those are certain points for these warlocks and these witches to do things, to have that spiritual activity. Like I said, whether to harness energy, to open portals and communicate with spirits, whatever they're trying to do. There's places like that in this earth. Some are more heavy than others. So I went into chat, all right, our good old friend Chat. And Chat pretty much this is what it said. The square as Saturn's symbol. In esoteric and hermetic traditions, Saturn is associated with structure, time, limitation, boundaries, and material confinement, right? And in this society, Saturn, being a Saturnian, right, is a big thing. It's a monumental thing. Okay, practicing the worship of Saturn, and Saturn can be represented as a cube, as a square, right? And in this society, what do they say? Square is fair. You know, your 3 square meals a day and all these different expressions. Square, boxed in. They got Jake boxed in, especially. You know, in the projects in the ghetto, you are boxed in, and that energy is harnessed and trapped and done. You know, made to cultivate you into becoming a criminal, going to prison, or destroying your own people, right? So it says the cube, a 3D square, symbolizes the manifest world, stable, defined, but also restrictive. Hence, square buildings equal order and control. See, and this is done to keep you. That's why everywhere you go, man, downtown especially, it's all square, cubed up, man, boxed in to keep you in line, subconsciously. Okay, to keep you in line, to keep you subservient, right? To keep you in an orderly fashion. Circular or organic architecture. Many ancient and indigenous cultures built circular dwellings, yurts, teepees, roundhouses, stone circles, stupas, domes. Now, and this is not saying a square, square architecture is wicked, and we're not going to have that. We're going to have all kinds of things in the kingdom. But the point is, the overabundance of everything is a square or a rectangle. Everything is boxed in pretty much. Okay, you hardly see circular architecture. That's true. Buildings or whatever it be, right? It says circles symbolize unity, wholeness, flow, the heavens, a form aligned with natural energy patterns. They allow air, sound, and spirit to circulate more freely. People often report a more alive, centered, sacred feeling inside them. Energetic consequence. Squares contain and trap energy. Circles circulate and harmonize it. So if you see square buildings as Saturnian boxes, it's not far-fetched. They represent a civilization prioritizing control, compartmentalization, and predictability over organic life flow. And best believe these devils, they harness energy, man. They harness your energy. A balance to consider. It's not that one is good and the other is bad. Saturn's structure is necessary to bring spirit or flow into form, but when society overemphasizes the square, people feel boxed in mentally, spiritually, even emotionally. That's why many modern architects and spiritual builders are returning to biophilic, sacred, geometric, or curvilinear designs, right? Curvature, domes, spirals, hexagons, etc., to restore the balance. Now, this is again going into what? Architecture, building, what? Masonry, right? At the core of it, a mason is a builder, right? And then it transcends, right, to master mason, and going into the mind now, building society the way you want it, and governing people. And we know that masonry in general, masonry is really Kabbalism when you go into it. And Kabbalism has an aspect of sacred geometry, right? When you look up masonry, it's the small hats, really, when you go into it. Okay? So it says, actually, that was it. Yeah, that was it. Now, let me get this scripture. Psalm 64. Again, this is not above Esau. We know we call you the Caucasoid, the wild man, the heathen, the vagabond, the convict, not a convict of what's that other word, man? You are a criminal on the loose, right? The word is skipping my mind, But pretty much we call them all these things, the base and all this. But at the same time, right? This is Psalm 64. And what is this? Psalm 64, I'll go to the point, verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Let me look up this word diligent. Right? Hapash, which means to search, search for, search out, disguise one. Right, self-explanatory. Oh, Slack it. That was search. My bad. Oh yeah. Come on. Diligent. I looked it up, but that's all right. Sometimes it does that. That's okay. A deep. Right, deep. So it says here, both the inward thought of every one of them, right, and the heart, which is the mind, is deep. Is deep, man. They need statistics. They need predictability. Which is risk management. They need, they have think tanks. So going into the occult on the left hand side, these guys are deep, man. Right? So pretty much, that was it on that. So I hope you were edified. Shalom. Kahalayim. Like, how about Shem Yahushai?